Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne back again doing your mid-November horoscopes for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in lovely Taurus. Just a quick update about what's happening with me. I am moving all the way across the country from Virginia to Washington State. And still taking clients for private readings, but next weekend, the 22nd and 23rd, I'm not taking any clients just for those 2 days because of my move. And I can be reached at elizabetholson31@gmail.com. I've been giving people my cell phone so they can call me. If they're in the US, they can call me and we can schedule an appointment. Or we can email and schedule an appointment that way. But I think for people who are in the US, it's just easier for people to call me. So I've been doing that. And the reason I've stopped my daily videos is because I went away almost 2 weeks ago, and then I got sick. And so I decided until after my move, I'm not going to be doing my daily videos, but I am going to be doing my December videos. So stay tuned for those in a couple weeks. All right, so let's see what the update is for you guys. That's my update. Let's see what your update is. Now it's interesting because I just did the Aries video, and Aries had a lot of reverses and a lot of stuff going on, like with the cards being in reverse. And some of my cards have notes on there for the reverses, and then some of them don't. Your first 2 cards were in reverse, so I'm just going to go with those. I guess my feeling is the miser in reverse, someone who's giving a lot but is resentful. So Taurus, for some reason, like you're thinking about Christmas, or you're thinking about giving, or there's some element of you reaching into your pocket, but at the same time pulling up some money, giving it, and then being like, why did I just do that? I shouldn't have done that. I'm trying to build a house. I'm trying to build a life. I'm trying to save for retirement. Why did I just give somebody to something? It's sort of like you're beating yourself up over being a giving person. Don't let anybody ever tell you not to be giving. Giving is awesome. Giving is great for karma. Giving is great for opening up your energy to positive things. It's when people become closed off and they stop giving that the energy becomes stagnant in their life, and they have the hardest time. Which is why people who have been through divorce, people who have been through financial reverses, people who have, and that could be you right now, Taurus. You could be going through some financial reverses. I just thought about that. People who have lost their job, people that have moved and had to go through a lot of financial problems. Basically, people who are going through financial problems, their energy becomes stagnant because they can't give. And so then that energy stagnates, and it just becomes harder and harder to recover. So that's why, sort of like when somebody loses their job, then it's like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And then they just become closed off. So they stop, like they shut it down. They're like, how am I supposed to live without money? How am I supposed to give without money? And then they go into this crazy, thing about I don't have anything to give, and they're in survival mode. So the problem is that in a magical world, these coins would fall out. Okay, they'd be falling out of his pockets, out of his grasp. Like it would be like the miser's trying to grasp money, but like, the money is falling out of his. He can't. It's like sort of like financial reverses that you can't control. That's coming to me too. Maybe money lost in the stock market. This is not a good time. I would not say this is a good time to invest. Okay, this is financial reverses. This is where you can't hold on to your money, where you have big expenses. Things come up that are unexpected. And I was talking earlier, and by the way, I'm drinking almond milk right now. Soothes my voice. I actually blew out my voice a couple weeks ago and I got sick. Like, I blew the whole thing out where I couldn't talk. I could hardly talk. What was I saying? Stock market. Oh, so November. In November, the like 11/11 is like a gateway. Okay, it's like 2 doors. Any of the days in November that have a lot of ones in them, the entire month of November is a gateway. But so things are coming in and going out of your life really quickly. And so this is not a time to really be spending a lot of money, because then it's going to be hard for you to recover when you have unexpected things come up that you have to pay for, basically. And Tauruses, you know, you're generally really good with finances. And I feel like some Tauruses are actually quite stingy because they're very, like, they're overly practical with their money. I feel like some of you need to be more giving, but the weird thing about this is it's sort of like you've been the miser for too long, and then the universe says, nope, you're not going to be the miser any longer. I'm going to take away all that money that you've saved up, all that money that's in the stock market. I'm going to take it all away, and we'll see how you behave then. And so it's just sort of like the challenge for you is big financial challenges that's been going on maybe in the beginning of November, and it's going to probably continue on towards the end of November. And I hate to say that, but that's my feeling. You guys have some big financial challenges. We're talking big expenses, big financial burdens that you're carrying, and it's sort of like you're trying to save. And I talked about, it's funny, I've talked about this in one of my other videos. It's like you're trying to save, but you can't quite get there. And that's how it's been. That's the energy. And I feel like you're still really overly focused on money. I feel like you're still the miser and you're grasping. It's like your money's falling out of your pockets and you're just grasping after it rather than being able to actually hang on to it. It's like the universe has turned your world upside down, and that's literally what's happening. It's important for you, Taurus, to really think about life in non-financial terms. Life, I was just talking about this in my other video. Life is not a business deal. Life is not... life does not appreciate in value, okay? We come in life, we come into life with no money, nothing, bare-assed, okay? And we leave the same way. Although I personally would like to be buried with some of my clothes, because I don't want to be in heaven without a change of clothes and my favorite jeans. So that's just me personally. But I'm special, so... I have a special personality, so special personal requests for the person who's handling my estate. They're going to have fun when they read my will. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes, financial reverses. Back to that. Yeah, you guys need to really think about things that you can do in life that are free, things that you can do for others that are actually free, and not think about money. Not think about what you're losing. Not think about when you buy something, how much it's going to cost you. No, just go and buy the damn thing. Don't even look at the price. Take it to the register, close your eyes, and swipe your credit card, and then you'll be good. Okay? That's my suggestion, anyways. And what's crossing you is time is in reverse. So it's weird because you have this money situation, and it's like time. This is not the time. This is like maybe the financial reverses or the financial thing that you're going through it did not come at a good time. Basically, that's my feeling. It's not a good time, and it's not a good time for money for you. Basically, it's not a time to. Interesting. I don't really do a lot with investments, okay, and I'm not held responsible for this. But if this was like an investment deal, or if this was something where you needed to pull your money out of something, this is not a time to do that. Leave it where it is. If you're going to go into panic mode and think, "Oh my God, I'm losing," it's not a time. It's timely. Not time to do, I think for you, Taurus, it's kind of like time for you to wait. Wait things out. See how things go. The foundation card is you're not sleeping enough. You're not getting enough rest. You don't have very much peace of mind. And you need to have peace of mind. And maybe that was more in the past, because this is also the past, where you weren't doing that. But generally, the foundation colors everything else, so it's still possible that you're not sleeping enough. The other reverse was, this is not a fun reading, guys. This is in the past. It's like you literally got sick. It says to get sick, not feeling good, upheaval, drained, feeling drained, and wintertime. So maybe where you live, I know the weather is kind of like early winter, and maybe you guys are kind of like settled in for an early winter. Where you are, you're not getting enough sunshine. If you live in a cold climate, if you live where there's not a lot of sun to begin with, you need to go away. You need to get more sunshine. You need to take some vitamin D drops. That's coming to me. Vitamin C and vitamin D, those are like, you really need to do that. Message me and I'll send you the links from Amazon, okay? I think a little bit farther back on my main channel, my main homepage on my YouTube channel, I had the link to the vitamin D drops, which would be very helpful. And you should also take the red Panax ginseng, because that'll help you feel better. If you're still sick. If you were sick and you got better, that's great. If you're still sick, then that would help you. You need to do more things to boost your immune system. It may just have been where in the past you were feeling just really drained, just like not having a lot of energy, and you were like on the borderline of getting sick, but maybe you didn't actually get sick. And what's crowning you is the King of Pentacles, which is interesting because this is Mr. Right. So Tauruses, this is for all you ladies out there. This is Mr. Right. Maybe you're thinking about Mr. Right. Maybe you just met Mr. Right. He is a great guy. I mean, he's very successful. He is very genuine. He's very giving. He's very grounded. This could also just be you, Taurus. Like if you're a male, this could just be you. This is you and what you want, and yeah, maybe you're very successful. You sort of like you've been through these financial reverses, and finances have been an issue, but you really have the Midas touch, which is everything you touch turns to gold. So every business deal you make, I would just be really cautious in November for the entire month, okay, about business deals. Reread everything, go through everything. This is a time to wait. This is not necessarily a time to go all in with all the chips in one basket, okay? What's right around the corner is interesting. It's this big open-minded, not worrying. It's this girl who is taking care of her 4 stuffed animals, or 5 stuffed animals. One of them is one of them is an older fairy who's not really, she wants to be part of things. So sort of like you could have someone in spirit that's looking over you, watching over you, which is very sweet. Or just kind of like an older, it could be an older pet that you're taking care of. But basically this and the energy about this is someone who's really focused on practical things. For you female Tauruses, this is you taking care of your family. This is you just making meals, making sure everybody's fed, making sure everybody's been to the doctor, making sure everybody's getting on the bus when they need to get on the bus, making sure their homework is done. This is just taking care of them. You're feeding everybody and you're taking care of everybody. And the thing is that you could be a single mom and have several kids. But this is, where you don't have, I feel like you are worried about finances. Tauruses are constantly worried about finances, but you don't have to be because the money is coming in. So you need to actually open your mind and be more open-minded and be more, and it's interesting because Tauruses are very, very grounded. They're overly grounded. You need to not worry so much about finances because things are going to be fine financially for you. They may not be right now, but in the future, things are going to improve. That's the way I see it anyways. And the thing about this is that, you know, children have that, the children are not worried about their paycheck, okay? They're not worried about paying their bills. They're not worried about paying their mortgage or their credit card bills. They're just in the moment. So you need to be like that. You need to be more in the moment, not thinking about, you know, how am I going to do this and how is this going to get done and blah, blah, blah. It's just know that it will. And Taurus, that you're really good at taking care of business. So I'm not worried about you when it comes to getting things done. I'm not. I know that you'll get it done. You may get it done in your own time frame. And that's fine. Now, you have some interesting talk about big financial increase. I don't know what's coming, but some kind of inheritance or some kind of big windfall is happening for you late November. Now, if you don't believe that this is true, then, you know, that's your opinion and that's fine. But I see some big, big money. Too big. You got the inheritance card, which I call the inheritance card, which is big, big wealth. And you got the fortune card, which is also big coin. So 2. You got 3 coins there. You may have 3 big opportunities that are happening, or maybe a job opportunity that increases your finances. But it's sort of like in the position of what's coming towards you is this big wealth. And then your attitude is big wealth. So it's sort of like the two kind of click together and makes huge wealth. And, you know, like I said, Tauruses generally are good with money. They're good with finances. So if you've had some financial reverses, if you felt like maybe you didn't have enough, maybe you felt like, you know, you were waiting on something and it's just not quite time yet, you know, and there's frustration there, know that in time, things are going to even out. It's funny because I picked too many cards here. And the outcome was going to be, I guess the outcome was going to be this, what I call the inequality card. Now, it can mean you're in a marriage that has an equal partnership and things are going really good. But it could also mean an unequal partnership in a marriage or a relationship. Where one person feels like they're putting more money into it than the other person. So it's like, so Capricorn, sorry, did I say Capricorn? I mean Taurus ladies. You may feel like your partner isn't giving enough, but he may feel like he is. You know, or he may feel like he's putting a lot financially into it, but he may be putting, you know, a lot of money into a 401k or a lot of money into his, you know, security, you know, fund or whatever it is, and you're not able to touch it, and so you're kind of like, well, I'm putting 100% of my paycheck in. Why is he not putting 100% of his? You know, it's that inequality thing. It's interesting, inequality. It's not what I call a hard block. It's just interesting that there's a lot in this reading to do about finances. You know, this is kind of for Taurus males. You know, you're very successful. Taurus ladies, you may be meeting another Taurus male, or you'd be married to a Taurus male, and they are the King of Pentacles. I also think of this as a younger Taurus who has like a baby spirit that's around them. That's basically, once you meet this ladies, you meet this person, it's like, and you sleep with this person, you could get pregnant right away. Because it's sort of like he has that energy. It's like he has that baby spirit just waiting to be born. So I feel like, so you got that, and then you got this big money coming towards you. You're thinking about money. Money is coloring the board here, you know, and then there's this inequality thing in your relationship with money, in your relationship to your partner. If you're single, it's, maybe you need help from somebody else. Maybe you're asking assistance from somebody else financially. But it's weird because I feel like Taurus, you don't generally need that, you know. So I just think it's more like, you know, you're fighting about money in your relationship. That's basically what it is. And I heard on the radio, and I think I mentioned this before, I heard on the radio that, like, the one thing that people fight about in a marriage is money. That's what they do. They fight about money. That's why people get divorced. So, I don't know, it's not uncommon to have that, especially if you have big money coming in. So it's like, if you do get inheritance towards the end of November, or if you do get some money, big money coming in, or even a promotion, it's sort of like you're going to be trying to figure out what you want to do with it. Do you invest it? Do you hang on to it? My suggestion is, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. If you can keep it out of the stock market, I would keep it out of the stock market. If you can put it into, you know, a savings account where it's liquid, I would do that. I hate to say this, but, you know, the number one thing that I worked in banks before. I worked in 2 different banks. The number one thing that I see with people is that they put it into they invest it. A, they can't get to it. B, when they do get to it, they have to take it out and it costs them something to take it out. And C, they end up losing most of it in some investment thing that went awry. So it's like all that money that they could have had, they can't have because they invested it poorly, or they just invested it in general. I am a huge fan of getting a second opinion when it comes to investments, because bankers have a tendency to be selfish. And they're not necessarily thinking about your best interest, they're thinking about the bank's best interest. So this is just an FYI. And it's weird because I pulled an additional card, I didn't even know it, and this is the Judgment card. Starting over, starting fresh, making a judgment call, taking the call of responsibility. You know, playing some music, going to a concert. This is beautiful energy. This is beautiful energy and this is an angel, you know. So it's like you have angels that are watching over you, Taurus, whether you know it or not. There's one specific I feel like that's watching over you. But you also have a lot of light, you know, to offer. So I feel like you may be doing something with that. That's my feeling. You may actually be doing something with energy work or with light. I don't know. I feel like some of you actually have like a lamp company. That just came to me. I don't know why. It just sort of hit me. You may actually have like your own lighting fixture company. If you do, send me a message. That would be cool. Anyways, I feel like you're going to be fine, Taurus. Just be careful of your investments. Don't go crazy and putting all your eggs into one basket. Now is not really the time to invest. Better to invest in the new year, I feel, for you. I would wait until the very end of December before you invest, or if you can, wait until the new year. And then if you do have money coming in from outside sources that, let's say like an inheritance, you know, I would try to talk it through, go to a counselor, and get a third party involved in what you want to do with this money, because I feel like there could be a lot of resentment there if you don't sort of talk it through with your partner, if you're not able to talk it through with your partner, if your partner is stubborn and they don't really want to listen to what you have to say. So anyways, I send you lots of love, big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Stay tuned for my December video. I will be doing that. Even though I'm destined to be moving west, and I'd love to hear from you guys, so feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com, if you want to do a private reading. So I'll talk to you guys again. Thank you. Take care.